afternoon, everybody watching. I'm Kelly Lou. I am from the South African SAS team, where I lead the Advanced Analytics and AI practice. But in essence, I am a data scientist. I'm very happy to be part of the event today, and I'm so excited to have the chance to speak with this amazing panel of ladies. And I think you guys will also agree that it's a really exciting time to be a data scientist right now. Almost every type of organization is making use of or exploring AI, and this means a bigger playground for us data scientists. And this is reflected in the rapid growth in global spend on artificial intelligence, and it's become fairly clear that the momentum is going to keep continuing. Organizations are expanding their current use of AI because they've experienced the tangible results, and they want to keep exploring and find more. And you may have already seen a study by IDC that forecasts the total spend on AI to double over the next 4 years, with retail and banking industry as the major contributors to that figure. So AI is working all around us today. But I remember talking to a student in one of the universities in South Africa, and she said she wanted to do something that was tangible and made a difference. And to her, AI wasn't that. And I realized that she, and a lot of other people in fact, have this misconception that AI is still science fiction. It's sitting in the lab being researched, or it's far out. But that couldn't be further from the truth. We are affected by multiple AIs every single day, from making recommendations of what we should be watching next on Netflix, to the next post that we see on Instagram, to some of the more serious things like determining if our credit application is successful or not, and even discovering new drugs and diagnosing diseases. So AI is definitely impactful in making our lives better. And with the expected increase in investments and other factors, like the fact that there's more people being interested in data scientists, and there's also more and more universities offering degrees on AI and data science, we can expect AI to fly past its current level of maturity really quickly in the near future. And also with new data sources, we can take advantage of things like unstructured text and image data. And this means more powerful AI, smarter AI, embedded and applied in more areas. So now, smart and powerful. That begins to sound a little bit dangerous, right? And often people start imagining things like the Terminator or the Matrix, or some more recent titles like Ex Machina and Westworld. But I'm not talking about that Hollywood type of artificial intelligence, because quite frankly, we haven't really developed broad AI like that yet. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there one day. I'm talking about the way AI is today, what we call narrow AI. Narrow AI is good at doing one thing and one thing only. So if you teach a narrow AI to play chess, it can't play Go or any other board game, in fact. But still, this narrow artificial intelligence can sometimes do some very stupid things. So I'm sure you've heard the funny stories about AI making mistakes, like the famous one where Amazon thought the chances of you buying a toilet seat increases after you buy the first one. So as if toilet seats are some form of collectible. But leaving AI to do its thing can have some more serious implications. So we're all familiar with the term garbage in, garbage out, but same applies to bias. Bias in, bias out. So if our data is biased, and all data will contain some level and form of bias, it will affect the output. So for example, if our AI picks up that many people who default on their loans are from a certain area or zip code, it may start rejecting people from that zip code entirely in the future. So someone from that area can have a good credit history and is a good customer in other regards, but they won't get approved. Is that fair? No. But in that case, it's not the AI is too smart, it's actually quite the opposite. And this has actually happened in the past where people have been discriminated against by AI based on where they live. So now imagine an example of AI in the future. We're accessing more and more forms of data. not just your customer associated data, let's say with a fashion retailer based on what they buy, we can see your publicly available social media data as well. We feed that data into the AI and figure out that you're actually most likely to go on a shopping spree when you find patterns in your social media posts to identify that you are a bit insecure, you're a bit depressed, or generally emotionally vulnerable. And that's when we send you offers and promos. And is that right? That's not right at all, and we shouldn't do that. But without transparency, you might not potentially know that that's what your AI is doing. So the question becomes, how are we going to make sure that this doesn't happen? And the answer is, well, there isn't a one-size-fits-all, but there are general concepts, like things like setting clear objectives, transparency, and more human and AI integration that can prevent these things from happening. We need to be clear about what we want to achieve when we create AI models. And the best example here is the self-driving car. The objective is not just to get from point A to point B, but get there safely for you and for others on the road, comfortably and in a reasonable amount of time, and many more other objectives. Next, we also need to be wary of black box AIs. So black box AIs are where you don't really know what the details of the AI, why it decided on something. And if we don't know, how can we trust it to be unbiased and correct? AI transparency allows users to see when a decision is not correct, and if we see it, we can fix it. The increasing complexity of AI is making this a difficult problem. Lastly, with more human and AI integration, we are bringing together the best of both worlds. We leave the heavy-duty processing to the AI, and we leverage our experience and knowledge to make judgment calls. This is achieved by democratizing analytics, one of SAS's key principles. And speaking as a data scientist, I don't always have the inside business knowledge to improve and adjust the models correctly. So let's take a simple scenario. I am a data scientist working for a fashion retailer, and I need to build a forecast model on the scale of, let's say, skinny jeans, so we can better manage demand and inventory. So as a data scientist, I would use the past data of skinny jean sales and make my forecasts. And you know, skinny jeans have been popular for so long, the model will probably assume that the trend will continue. But someone in the purchasing department who is experienced in fashion trends will tell me that, well, no, wait, like skinny jeans are not popular with this new Generation Z anymore. Actually, straight cut and what they call mom jeans are all the rage now. And they would be able to help me make adjustments to these models and ultimately produce a better and more accurate forecast. Another great example is the SAS Rainforest project. Our AI platform is already analyzing and making sense of thousands of satellite images that identify signs of deforestation in the rainforests. But artificial intelligence can't do it alone. We need humans to help identify signs of deforestation that the model hasn't learned to detect yet. So your participation, whether you identify deforestation in one image or 100 images, will allow us to fine-tune AI models that can detect changes in the Amazon and alert conservation and government organizations responsible for protecting it. And you can get involved by Googling SAS Rainforest, and it should take you to the correct page. So the way I see it, even with all the investments going into AI, the future is not going to be about AI taking over from humans. It's about collaboration between AI and humans that will make the biggest impact to our businesses and to our lives. Yes, some of the aspects will be automated, saving us time and handling the tedious or repetitive types of work, but ultimately it will still require human supervision and input to make sure its objectives are correct and it's fair and unbiased. And really, AI can make a positive impact on our world, and it also enables us humans to maximize our impact and unlock more of our potential.